Richer people are more likely to overlook their weaknesses, as opposed to some other demographics. Do you ever look at wealthy folks and think they sometimes have too many? Don't you ever listen to wealthy folks and think to yourself, what do they have that I don't, aside from money? What else? In fact, doesn't it surprise you a little that so much has been seen and accomplished despite having so little money? There's a chance there's a cause for your lack of riches. But to be honest, it's going to be a tough one to take in. Several of you seeing this have above average IQs, but only a small number of you earn enough to be considered upper class. What's the reason for this? If you're so brilliant, why aren't you wealthy? Smart people sometimes believe that their success is predetermined by their intelligence and that other abilities are unimportant. For example, they may dismiss workplace diplomacy as a minor annoyance rather than a necessary ability for their position. Similarly, they may believe that being pleasant is important for a secretary, but not for an executive. As a result, they do not devote time or effort to honing these abilities. These perspectives aren't random. Most people are wired to focus on their strengths and avoid thinking about their weaknesses. Bright children are frequently told that their intelligence is valuable throughout their childhood. They are told they are intelligent as children and learn that success comes more easily to them than to others during their schooling. It's easy to see why they would focus on their intelligence as adults, because of this. However, in most industries, raw intelligence isn't enough to succeed, and concentrating solely on your greatest strength, rather than tackling your deficiencies, is a recipe for failure. The solution is to overcome your limitations by using your strengths. You can learn the skills that don't come easily to you. For example, if you're skilled at learning, you shouldn't have to change what comes naturally to you. All you need is a strategy and a sincere desire to improve, determined through workplace diplomacy behaviors that will help make over your image. Smart people are less likely to have high self-esteem, because intelligence often forms a large part of their own personal identity, which means that they struggle to deal with situations where their intelligence might be exposed as a weakness. If a large part of your self-esteem is based on your intelligence, working with people who are more talented or intellectual, or taking a risk and failing, are all examples of this. Any situation that makes you feel stupid is regarded as extremely dangerous. The astute individual may even try to avoid those circumstances, putting them at a disadvantage. The simple answer to this is to take an objective look at the advantages of working with people who are smarter than you. In some ways, you're doing something well. If you surround yourself with intelligent people, keep in mind that iron sharpens iron. Develop relationships with people you can rely on to provide you with constructive criticism. As you become accustomed to accepting critical comments from people who believe in your overall capabilities and abilities, smart people aren't as patient with boredom. Being smart isn't the same as being curious. But if you have both, you might get tired of repeating the same actions. Some sorts of success come from being creative, others come from mastering a niche and repeating a set of behaviors. If you're intelligent, curious, and enjoy learning, you may discover that once you've figured something out, you rapidly lose interest in it. You might find the execution side of performance boring, and you'd rather be learning new things all the time. Finding a niche and repeating the same method can be more profitable, but it's not always the case, although that might seem too boring or unchallenging to you. And easy fixes take a 30,000-foot view of when it's worth it, cutting a little boredom in exchange for quick wins that will improve your overall success rather than seeking drastic change. It makes me wonder how many academic geniuses have found something incredible, but published it in a paper so dense and convoluted that no one else can understand it. I'm sure it's a lot. So the takeaway is that being super smart also means you understand how much you don't know. This can be both a blessing and a curse. On the downside, you never exactly know everything, and on the upside, it keeps you hungry to learn more. When the more you know, the less you know, intelligence becomes a cure. Scientists discovered that the less bright you are, the higher your cognitive talents are overestimated and vice versa. In one experiment, students in the lowest quartile of a test adapted from the LSAT overestimated the number of items they got right by roughly 50%. Those in the top quartile, on the other hand, overestimated their number of right answers. Ultimately, personality plays a big role in financial success. So, by combining the two, you can become more successful than you ever could on your own. It's true you can't change your IQ, but by increasing our conscientiousness and curiosity, you can help yourself finish things you start. Recognizing and respecting all accomplishments will also help. Thank you for watching this video. If you found it useful, please give it a thumbs up. And while you're here, subscribe to the channel so that you're updated with more great content like this. But before we go, I'll see you soon.